Now, on Eyewitness News at 11.
We're working the latest tonight on major developments in the state's risky business deal with 38 studios. Tonight, almost everyone at Curt Schilling's troubled video game company is out of a job.
We were first to confirm on air and online that 38 Studios had laid off its entire staff, both here in Rhode Island and in Maryland. Eyewitness News has obtained the notice that went out to employees today, and here it is. It reads, the company is experiencing an economic downturn. To avoid further losses and possibility of retrenchment, the company has decided that a company-wide layoff is absolutely necessary. These layoffs are non-voluntary and non-disciplinary. This is your official notice of layoff effective today, Thursday, May 24th, 2012.
The layoffs at 38 studios followed more dramatic developments related to the state's $75 million loan guarantee to the company. Today, the vice chairwoman of the Economic Development Corporation resigned.
Governor Lincoln Chafee says he will keep working to salvage the company, which, if it fails, could have Rhode Island taxpayers responsible for the debt. We begin our team coverage tonight with Eyewitness News reporter Steve Nielsen. He's live outside 38 Studios headquarters.
Well, it's been more than a week since the 38 Studios crisis began. The biggest development happening today, though, is we confirmed, even before the governor knew, that Curt Schilling's company was laying off all of its employees. A grim statement from the governor.
It's not a good situation. I'm not here to share good news.
38 Studios continuing a downward spiral after missing a payment on their taxpayer guaranteed loan, then failing to make payroll. Eyewitness News broke the story that the company laid off all of its roughly 400 Rhode Island and Maryland-based employees. The governor resisted, saying the company's closed its doors for good.
I'm still going to work to keep, even in these grim times of what we're seeing, employees being laid off and landlords losing tenants, all the negative ramifications of a business not doing well. But I'll still continue to work with 38 Studios.
The governor's team said as recently as Thursday morning, company officials gave no indication of layoffs.
There was no discussion about layoffs in any of my conversations.
Governor Chafee wouldn't go into details, but did say there were disagreements with how to handle this. Resignations have struck the Economic Development Corporation, the arm of the state government that approved the $75 million loan guarantee. The executive director, Keith Stokes, resigning last week. And now the governor's hand-picked vice chair, Helena Folks, announced her resignation. In a statement saying, I have discussed with the governor his plans for the board at the EDC, and I think it's best at this time I resign. Others are likely to follow her lead as taxpayers are on the hook for tens of millions of dollars. And although the governor says he's holding out hope for 38 Studios, with no employees and no investors coming forward, the future looks bleak. Reporting live at the Providence Mobile Newsroom in front of 38 Studios, I'm Steve Nielsen, Eyewitness News.
Tonight, people who worked at 38 Studios are looking for new jobs.
It's a big blow, especially considering 38 Studios was expected to create hundreds of new jobs here in Rhode Island. Eyewitness News reporter Stephen Schuler continues our in-depth team coverage live in our studio.
We had a team of reporters staked outside 38 Studios, and now we're hearing from some of those laid-off workers for the first time. Eyewitness News cameras roll as employees hug inside One Empire Plaza moments after learning of company-wide layoffs.
38 Studios was the greatest place I've ever worked, so it sucks to believe that.
In all, 38 Studios handed out pink slips to 251 full-time and 40 part-time employees in Providence. One software engineer who didn't want his face shown tells us he blames the governor for the layoffs.
We're a month away of being able to secure our finances, but then the governor made everything public and it blew up all the deals.
We've learned 38 Studios failed to make payroll, employees saying they haven't received a check in weeks. Still, some seemed optimistic the company could have been saved.
The film tax credits, not making everything public, making everything a political fight. It's going to cost Rhode Island a lot more in the long term.
Now facing uncertain futures, the newly unemployed workers seem surprisingly positive.
Everyone's fine. Yeah.
Any layoffs?
I can't say anything.
It's a big industry. Everybody falls on their feet.
Now, recruiters from 2 other video game companies were already in Providence this week looking for talent, and we've learned Twitter is buzzing about open positions available for former 38 Studios employees. I'm Stephen Schuler, Eyewitness News.
Well, the employees at 38 Studios may not be the only ones to pay the price for the floundering video game company. State taxpayers are on the hook, and Providence residents could also feel an extra pinch. Tonight, we caught up with the Providence Mayor, Angel Tavares, who is standing behind Governor Chafee on his handling of 38 Studios.
Obviously, this is not a positive development for us, but we will do everything we can to continue to work with Governor Chafee as he continues to try to make sure that we make the proper decisions regarding all the tax dollars that are at stake, because it's a lot more than just property tax dollars that are at stake when you think about the loan guarantee.
Loans, jobs, future business deals, all at stake. WPRI.com reporter Ted Nesi is here. We were first to break the story that Kurt Schilling's company was laying off everyone. Ted, you were at today's news conference, and the governor was surprised that Schilling's company did that.
He was. He actually found out about the layoffs from reporters, Mike. We told him when we got there, and I think that goes to the heart of the problem here. 38 Studios and the government have not been communicating effectively in this time of crisis, so it's unclear what they could have done.
You know, Ted, this is a complicated situation. You've been covering this from the beginning. Basically, Schilling had a problem getting investors from day one, right?
He always did. He went to investors in Boston. He went to investors on Wall Street. None of them were interested in getting involved, and that was before Rhode Island got on board. So in that sense, it's not really a surprise that now, with the company in a crisis, he couldn't find private money.
So what's the price tag that Rhode Islanders are going to face at this point?
Well, we've crunched the numbers, Mike, here at Channel 12, and we've looked at it. I think we're looking at $90 million for Rhode Island taxpayers over the next decade, and they're expected to pay that. Wall Street is expecting Rhode Island taxpayers to come up with the money if 38 Studios goes bust.
Now, the governor had all of his people there today. Do they have a plan of what's going to happen next at this point?
Not really. As you pointed out, they didn't even know the layoffs were coming today. I think they're waiting to see what 38 Studios does next. Will they have to file for bankruptcy? If all the employees are gone, it certainly looks grim for the firm, and I think they're just looking at how can they protect taxpayers as best they can, but the hour is very late.
Now, you've been talking to people. How does Kurt Schilling's company just get out of this mess, or is this really done?
You know, you never want to say it's over till it's over, but with no employees and no private money and the state pulling the plug, it's very hard to see how Schilling's company stays in business. I mean, maybe something could come out of the woodwork, but it would be a shock if they didn't file for bankruptcy.
Schilling's employed by ESPN. Is he still working there today?
Spoke with ESPN this morning. He's still an analyst on Baseball Tonight as of now, yep.
Okay. Ted Nesi, WPRI.com reporter, and you have more on WPRI.com.
Much more.
Okay. Thank you, Ted. And we have in-depth coverage of 38 Studios' risky business on our website. You can go to WPRI.com to check out a timeline that details each step of the state's deal with the video game company.